In the world of Naruto, power takes many forms. Some are born with it, like the Uchiha clan and their Sharingan. Others, like Naruto Uzumaki, achieve it through sheer willpower. But there's a different kind of power, earned through relentless effort. This is the power of Might Guy, the noble blue beast of Konoha. What if Might Guy possessed the legendary Rinnegan? The Rinnegan, with its godlike abilities, is a force of nature. Would he reshape the ninja world or be corrupted by this power? Join us as we explore this fascinating alternate reality. Might Guy's story begins long before he ever donned the green jumpsuit or mastered the 8 inner gates. It starts with his father, Might Dai, a man who lived and breathed the philosophy of hard work. Dai, despite possessing seemingly average ninja abilities, instilled in his son the belief that effort could surpass even the most natural talent. Their modest home in Konoha was a testament to this belief. Dai pushed himself beyond his limits every single day, his training echoing through their small home. Guy, watching his father, learned that true strength came not from inherent gifts, but from the unwavering will to push beyond one's perceived limitations. Dai's lessons weren't just about physical strength, they were about the strength of character, the unyielding spirit that refuses to give up. He taught Guy that every drop of sweat, every strained muscle, brought him one step closer to his goals. This philosophy became the cornerstone of Guy's identity. It was more than just training, it was a way of life. Every challenge, every setback was an opportunity to push harder, to prove that dedication could overcome any obstacle. This upbringing would not only shape Guy's destiny, but also lay the groundwork for one of the most iconic student-teacher relationships in the Naruto universe, his bond with Rock Lee. Imagine this. A young Might Guy, fueled by his father's teachings, embarks on a mission. This mission leads him down a different path, diverging from the canon narrative we know. He finds himself in a place imbued with ancient chakra, where the veil between dimensions feels thin. Here, he encounters a dying Otsutsuki, a being whose power dwarfs even legendary ninjas. The Otsutsuki senses something unique in Guy, not just his strength, but his conviction. In a final act of faith, the Otsutsuki bestows upon Might Guy the legendary Rinnegan. The power of the 6 paths now resides within a Taijutsu master who believes in the power of youth and hard work. The Rinnegan, a gift from a dying god, now pulsed with an energy that was both familiar and alien to Guy. It was a power unlike anything he'd ever experienced, a power that could level mountains and reshape the very fabric of reality. But with this immense power came a crushing weight of responsibility. This wasn't simply another jutsu to master, this was a legacy, a burden passed on from a being who had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Dai's words echoed in his mind. True strength comes from within, from the unwavering spirit. But how could those words hold true in the face of such overwhelming power? Could he reconcile the philosophy of hard work with an ability that transcended the very limits of human potential? The encounter with the Otsutsuki had left its mark, not just physically, but also on his soul. He remembered the dying Otsutsuki's words. You possess a spirit that can withstand the temptations of power, a spirit that can bring change to this world. The weight of those words settled upon Guy's shoulders. He wasn't just a ninja of Konoha anymore. He was a vessel for something greater, a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the brink. The initial surge of chakra was overwhelming. It coursed through his veins like a raging river. He collapsed to his knees, his vision blurring. But then the storm within him subsided. He looked down at his hands, trembling. They felt different, heavier, as if imbued with immense power. He stood, testing his new strength. It was then that he truly understood the extent of the Rinnegan's power. Could he control this power, or would it consume him? The Rinnegan, in all its glory, presented Guy with a fundamental dilemma. It was a power that could achieve victory with a flick of the wrist, a power that could end conflicts before they even began. But was that the way of a true shinobi? Was it right to rely on such overwhelming force, to abandon the essence of hard work that had defined his life? The teachings of Might Dai were deeply ingrained in his soul. A dropout will always beat a genius through hard work, Dai had said, his voice booming with conviction. These words had been his mantra, his guiding light. But how could he reconcile this philosophy with the reality of the Rinnegan? Was it possible to wield such power while staying true to the teachings that had shaped him? The internal conflict raged within him. On one hand, he saw the potential, the ability to protect his loved ones, to ensure the safety of Konoha. The Rinnegan offered a shortcut, a path of least resistance. But on the other hand, he couldn't shake the feeling that relying solely on this power would be a betrayal of everything he held dear. It would be a disservice to his father's memory, a rejection of the very spirit that had made him strong. The forest floor became his new training ground, the whispering trees his only witness. The familiar routine of push-ups, sit-ups and endless laps around Konoha no longer sufficed. He had to push beyond to find a way to integrate the Rinnegan into his fighting style without becoming a slave to its power. He started slowly, tentatively testing the limits of his new abilities. The Diva path, with its control over attractive and repulsive forces, allowed him to enhance his Taijutsu, adding an unpredictable element to his strikes. He practiced for hours, his movements becoming a blur of motion as he incorporated the Rinnegan's power into his signature dynamic entry. The ground cracked and splintered under the force of his blows, trees snapping like twigs under the pressure of his enhanced strength. Yet, with each successful attempt, he felt a twinge of guilt, a nagging feeling that he was taking a shortcut, betraying the essence of hard work that had always defined him. Rock Lee, his most dedicated student, was the first to notice the change in Guy. It wasn't just the subtle shift in his demeanor, the newfound intensity in his eyes, but something far more profound. Lee could sense the immense power radiating from his sensei, a power that dwarfed anything he'd ever encountered before. The training sessions became even more intense, pushing Lee to the absolute limit of his physical and mental endurance. But Lee, ever the dedicated student, never complained. He saw in Guy's transformation a challenge, an opportunity to push himself even harder, to bridge the gap between them. He doubled his efforts, his determination burning brighter than ever before. Yet there was a flicker of worry in Lee's eyes, a concern that his sensei, the man who had taught him the value of hard work and perseverance, was becoming something different. Word spread through the bustling streets of Konoha like wildfire. Might Guy, the eccentric Taijutsu master, possessed the legendary Rinnegan. It was a rumor too outlandish to ignore, too significant to dismiss. At first there was disbelief, a chorus of scoffs and dismissive shrugs. Might Guy with the Rinnegan? Preposterous. He was a man of sweat and effort, not some celestial being wielding godly powers. But as whispers turned into hushed conversations and hushed conversations into open speculation, a sense of unease began to settle over the village. The villagers had witnessed firsthand the destructive potential of the Rinnegan during the tumultuous reign of Pain. The mere thought of such power residing within their own ranks, within the heart of their beloved village, was both exhilarating and terrifying. Kakashi Hatake, the copy ninja, the sixth Hokage, felt a familiar weight settle upon his shoulders. He'd seen the Rinnegan's might firsthand, had clashed with its devastating power during his confrontation with Pain. Now, his longtime rival, his comrade in arms, possessed that same awe-inspiring ability. He sought out Guy, drawn to the familiar training grounds where they had sparred countless times before. But the air felt different now, charged with an almost tangible energy. Guy stood in the center of a clearing, his eyes closed as he practiced manipulating his newfound powers. The ground trembled, leaves rustled, and the air crackled with unseen energy. It was as if the very forest itself recognized the presence of a force beyond its comprehension. Section 3. Team Guy's transformation. 10-10's ingenuity ignited. For Rock Lee, the revelation of Guy's Rinnegan was both inspiring and daunting. It was a testament to his sensei's unwavering spirit, proof that even the most extraordinary abilities could be attained through sheer dedication. But it also highlighted the vast gulf that still separated them. Lee pushed himself harder, his training regimen becoming even more grueling, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that he was falling behind. 10-10, however, saw an opportunity. Always the pragmatist of Team Guy, she recognized the strategic advantage Guy's Rinnegan provided. She immersed herself in research, studying ancient scrolls and experimenting with new weapon designs, seeking ways to complement and amplify Guy's powers. Her workshop became a hive of activity, filled with the clang of metal and the hum of chakra as she poured her heart and soul into creating something truly extraordinary. Section 4, the Hokage's dilemma, a force multiplier or a potential threat. Kakashi watched from the shadows, his Sharingan eye analyzing Guy's movements, his mind racing with possibilities and concerns. Guy had always been a force to be reckoned with, his Taijutsu unmatched in Konoha. But with the Rinnegan at his disposal, he was a one-man army, a force of nature that could reshape the political landscape of the ninja world. The elders too recognized the gravity of the situation. Some saw Guy's newfound power as a gift, a blessing from the Sage of Six Paths himself, a means to ensure the safety and prosperity of Konoha. Others, however, expressed concern, their voices laced with fear and uncertainty. The Rinnegan was a double-edged sword, its power capable of both creation and destruction. Could Might Guy, the eternal optimist, the embodiment of youthful enthusiasm, truly control such a power without succumbing to its temptations? Section 1. The Eternal Genin's Ascent, a new kind of power ranking. The world of shinobi had always measured strength in stark, unforgiving terms. Chunin, Yonin, Cage. These titles were more than just ranks. They were a testament to one's power, their ability to shape the battlefield, to dictate the flow of combat. Might Guy, eternally branded with the Genin title, had always defied these conventions. His strength, born of sweat and tireless effort, never quite fit into the neat boxes defined by the shinobi world. Now, with the Rinnegan pulsating within him, he shattered those boxes entirely. The whispers in the village streets were no longer of disbelief, but of awe. Stories of his training sessions, of the ground cracking under his feet and the very air bending to his will, spread like wildfire. The power rankings, etched in stone for generations, were suddenly irrelevant. Might Guy, the eternal Genin, had ascended to a level beyond comprehension, a level where titles held no meaning. Section 2, a balancing act, maintaining identity in the face of godhood. The Rinnegan offered power beyond measure, the ability to rewrite reality with a thought, yet with each passing day, Guy clung tighter to the principles instilled by his father. He trained harder than ever before, pushing his physical limits to the brink, refusing to let the Rinnegan's power become a crutch. He meditated for hours, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, seeking balance between the overwhelming might of the Rinnegan and the unyielding spirit that defined him. He knew the seductive allure of power, how easily it could twist even the purest of intentions. He had seen it firsthand, in the cold, calculating eyes of Madara, in the chilling ambition of pain. He refused to become another cautionary tale, another victim of the Rinnegan's corrupting influence. Section 3. The Shadow of Doubt. Whispers of the Rinnegan's toll. Despite Guy's best efforts, a shadow of doubt began to creep into the hearts of those closest to him. Kakashi, haunted by his own experiences with the Sharingan, saw the subtle changes in his friend's demeanor. Even Rock Lee, his most ardent disciple, couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The whispers in the village grew bolder, fueled by the anxieties of a populace scarred by the horrors of the Fourth Great Ninja War. Section 4. Unwavering conviction, a heart untainted by absolute power. Unbeknownst to the village, Guy was engaged in a battle far more perilous than any physical confrontation. He embraced the pain of his training, the exhaustion that pushed him to the edge of his physical limits, as a reminder of his own mortality. He sought solace in the simple joys of life, reaffirming his connection to the human world. He would wield the Rinnegan as a tool, an extension of his own unwavering will, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Section 5. The Will of Fire, redefined, inspiring a new generation. As the dust settled from Guy's internal struggle, a new chapter began in the story of Konoha. The villagers, witnessing his unwavering dedication, were inspired. The Will of Fire took on a new meaning, symbolizing resilience and the ability to confront unimaginable power without losing sight of one's humanity. The children of Konoha now looked up to Might Guy, the eternal genin, as the true embodiment of shinobi excellence. Section 1. The Green Dynamo and the Copy Ninja, a new dynamic. The relationship between Might Guy and Kakashi Hatake had always been one of friendly rivalry. Kakashi, the prodigy, gifted with the Sharingan, embodied a certain effortless grace. Guy, on the other hand, was a whirlwind of energy, a testament to the power of sheer willpower. Their spars were legendary, a clash of lightning and thunder, each pushing the other to their limits. But the arrival of the Rinnegan shifted the balance, adding a new layer of complexity to their dynamic. Kakashi made it his mission to guide Guy, not as a rival or a superior, but as a friend. Section 2. A ripple through the Five Nations, shifting alliances and uncertain futures. News of Might Guy's Rinnegan spread beyond the hidden borders of Konohagakure. It reached the ears of cages, sent ripples of unease through the hearts of seasoned shinobi and ambitious warlords. The balance of power, carefully maintained for decades, had been disrupted. Alliances began to crumble under the weight of suspicion and fear. The other nations were forced to re-evaluate their strategies, considering alliances they had once deemed unthinkable. The stage was set for a new era in shinobi history, hinging on the choices made by a single green-clad shinobi. Beyond the battlefield, the Rinnegan's impact extended far beyond the realm of combat. Its influence seeped into the very fabric of Konohagakure, subtly reshaping the village's infrastructure and priorities. Construction projects, once considered impossible feats of engineering, were now completed in record time. Hospitals, once overwhelmed with casualties from frequent conflicts, now boasted state-of-the-art facilities. The village, once scarred by the wounds of war, began to flourish. Its streets bustled with renewed life, its people emboldened by a sense of security and prosperity. Yet, beneath this veneer of progress, a subtle tension lingered. Was this reliance a sign of progress or a dangerous dependency, a potential vulnerability should this power ever fall into the wrong hands? Of all the relationships tested by Might Guy's transformation, none felt the strain more acutely than his bond with Rock Lee. Lee, who had dedicated his life to emulating his sensei, now found himself facing an insurmountable gap. One evening, as Guy watched his student collapse from exhaustion, a flicker of concern crossed his usually stoic features. "Guy-sensei," Lee's voice trembled, "what use is my hard work, my dedication, when faced with such overwhelming power?" The Fourth Great Ninja War. a conflict that threatened to engulf the entire world in flames, and at its heart a green storm raged. Might Guy, the once underestimated Taijutsu master, now stood as a beacon of hope, his Rinnegan blazing with the power to alter the course of destiny. His arrival on the battlefield sent shockwaves through both allied and enemy lines. The Ten Tails, a monstrous embodiment of chakra, unleashed its devastating power. Yet Guy stood firm, his spirit unyielding. He moved like a tempest, his Taijutsu, amplified by the Rinnegan's six paths techniques, transformed into an unstoppable force. Section 2. Might Guy versus Six Paths Madara, a clash of titans. The battlefield fell silent. Two figures, each radiating unimaginable power, stood locked in a confrontation for the ages. Madara Uchiha, the legendary shinobi who had transcended mortality, and Might Guy, the eternal genin, his Rinnegan blazing with the fire of 1,000 suns. Their clash was a dance of gods, a spectacle that defied the laws of nature. Guy had become a force of nature, his spirit echoing with the indomitable will of his father, Might Guy. Section 3, the Sage's Power Reinvented, unlocking new dimensions of youth. The Rinnegan, once wielded by the Sage of Six Paths to shape the world, found new purpose in Guy's hands. He tapped into the Rinnegan's potential in ways the Sage himself could never have imagined. He channeled the energy of the Asura path, augmenting his physical strength to unimaginable levels. He manipulated the Naraka path, his body radiating a regenerative aura, healing wounds as quickly as they appeared. He could absorb ninjutsu, chakra, even natural energy, converting it into raw power that fueled his already formidable abilities. Section 4. The Price of Power. A Dance with the Eight Gates Shadow. As the battle raged, pushing both Guy and Madara to the brink, a dangerous gamble took shape in Guy's mind. He had already unleashed the seventh gate of wonder, pushing his body and mind to the precipice of their limits. But it wasn't enough. Madara, fueled by the Ten Tails, seemed impervious to even his most devastating attacks. There was only one option left, a path fraught with peril, a gamble that could cost him everything. The eighth gate of death. And then, with a heavy heart and a resolute spirit, he made his choice. Section 1. The Legacy of a Hero, Echoes of Youth in a Changed World. The dust settled on a world forever altered. The fourth great ninja war had reached its tumultuous conclusion. At the heart of that victory was the radiant glow of Might Guy's Rinnegan. He had stared into the abyss and emerged, not unscathed but unbroken. The cost had been immense, a testament to the terrible power he had unleashed. Yet even as he bore the physical scars of his sacrifice, his spirit remained a beacon of unyielding optimism. Section 2. A World Reshaped by Will. The Enduring Impact of Might Guy's Rinnegan. The legacy of Might Guy's Rinnegan extended far beyond the battlefields. The power he had wielded, the choices he had made, sent ripples through time, altering the course of history. The villagers began to explore new avenues of diplomacy, their leaders inspired by Guy's unwavering belief in the power of understanding and collaboration. The concept of strength expanded to encompass the virtues Guy embodied: perseverance, dedication, and the unyielding belief in one's own potential. The world had witnessed the destructive potential of absolute power, but Might Guy had shown them a different path. Section 3. The unanswered question, what if power served purpose? What if power, in all its awe-inspiring and terrifying forms, was not something to be feared, but a tool to be wielded with purpose? Might Guy, the eternal genin, had never sought power for power's sake. He believed in the power of youth, in the unyielding spirit that resided within every heart, waiting to be ignited.